not everybody has to be a leader in the same direction. Not everybody is meant to be a supervisor. Not everyone is meant to develop and be an assistant superintendent or a superintendent.
DMH Way presents. Chat GCG, a DMH Way podcast.
Welcome to Chat GCG, genuine conversations on growth, contribution, and goals. At Chat GCG, our goal is to introduce you to authentically intelligent heroes of DMH employment. I'm Jasmine Pegues, Supervisory Specialist for DMH Way.
And I am Jason Janayan, Facilitator with the DMH Way.
We're here for episode 11 with Miranda Warren, Superintendent of HHC, or Higginsville Rehabilitation Center, the queen herself at innovation and getting teams across the finish line with complex goals. Miranda, before we get into the weightier questions of today, we here like to start our interviews with what's called the chit chat. These are 4 softball, easy questions to prepare you for harder questions and just kind of get us going. So if you could tell our audience where you work, what you do, how long you've been with DMH, and what would you say is your guilty pleasure or drink of choice? And I think I know.
So I am the interim superintendent at the Higginsville Rehabilitation Center. I have been there since July of 2021. I've been with DMH since I was in college in 2003. So about 22 years. I started off as a direct care staff. And my drink of choice is coffee and Diet Pepsi.
Yes, the good stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
The good stuff. So thank you for helping our audience get to know you a bit more. Now that you've warmed up, Jason is going to take you into some of the more deep questions with the first GCG question, growth.
Okay, Miranda. When you were speaking a moment ago, you talk about your starting point here at with the Department of Mental Health.
Mm-hmm.
From my understanding, you started here as an A, right? Given starting from where you started to where you're at today,
Mm-hmm.
what would you say has been the biggest point of growth in your career here with DMH?
I've had a lot of growing experiences from direct care to a rehabilitation specialist, unit director. I would say that my biggest growth experience was taking a jump and trying something that I never had any experience with and trying something new. So I've done that a couple of times. I'm kind of a fly by the seat of my pants type of gal. So the first time I ever did that was when I was a rehabilitation specialist and the facility at Marshall had decided to move some of our geriatric individuals to group homes.
Mhm.
And I had more experience working with some higher functioning individuals. And so learning how to care for some geriatric folks and learning about positioning and what was best for their daily care and just really reaching out to my resources and taking that head on with a really great team of direct care staff that were amazing. And really getting to know them and the individuals, I think, was a really big growth for me. And just having the ability to kind of spread my wings and learn to do what was best for them and the most creative way, and just every day be able to just help them build and build and build in their daily lives was very cool. I would say that the biggest growth that I've had was assisting the state with opening a crisis facility.
Mhm.
So that was pretty awesome. I was able to really learn individuals and what their needs were, and then adjust this program into what what the state needed.
Okay.
And so opening up the Optimistic Beginnings program with a very amazing mentor was a lot of fun. And then just snagging some really great people to help along the way was pretty amazing. So
That is amazing. That is amazing. And as you're talking from the beginning of your conversation, you said that you had no idea what you're basically had no idea what you're jumping into,
nope.
right? And I read a quote years ago that says, "Success happen when we step outside of our comfort zone." And it
Absolutely.
seems like that was a great example of how to actually you just basically just explain that to me. That's amazing. That's amazing. Also, I have a follow up question to that.
Okay.
How would you say that the DMH way or planning difficult conversation has supported you in your growth?
Um, so difficult conversations happen all the time.
Mhm.
And if they don't, they should. We should be having difficult conversations with our coworkers, with our families, with our kids, with our friends. We should be having them all the time. And with DMH, our core values, transparency and accountability, I think are probably the ones that I favor the most.
Okay.
In difficult conversations, if someone is willing to sit down with you and have a difficult conversation with you, that means that they're holding you accountable, which means that they believe in you.
Yep.
So that means that they're willing to sit down with you and help you. They're willing to help you and help lead you in the right direction.
Absolutely.
If someone isn't willing to sit down and have a hard conversation with you, then they don't see the potential. And so when someone's willing to be transparent with you and sit down and have an accountability conversation with you, a difficult conversation, that is the person's responsibility to sit down and say, I see the potential in you. It also is the person that's receiving that conversation. They have responsibility too. They have responsibility to take accountability and then to help develop a plan on how do we move forward. So I think that understanding difficult conversations on both ends of that is a learning experience for everybody.
Absolutely.
And so I think sometimes we get wrapped up in this whole, I don't want to have a difficult conversation because it's uncomfortable, instead of going at it head on and saying, how can we grow? You should always end a difficult conversation, no matter what it is, with a plan on what's the solution. And if you can't come up with a solution, then let me help guide you to that
Absolutely.
solution. So
Absolutely.
I would say over my career of, 22 years with DMH, I've heard a lot of difficult conversations, whether that be I have this idea and that's not going to work. Then I have to go back to the drawing board, or maybe we tried a new type of treatment for somebody and that didn't work out. And so we have to go back to the drawing board, or I've had to have difficult conversations with staff a lot. And sometimes we've decided that maybe the role they're in isn't what's best for them, or maybe they're burned out and we need to go somewhere else, and then they've blossomed and done amazing things for DMH. And so I just think that, helping people prosper in their lives is there's nothing wrong with
No.
a difficult conversation.
Absolutely.
We should have them more often.
Absolutely. That's amazing. And we're going to pass it on to Jazz.
Yeah, so my portion is contributions. And gosh, there's like a laundry list of contributions and accolades that I could give, but I've known you for a little over 10 years now, and I feel very honored today to be able to be the one to talk to you and be on this platform because you are part of my development for the bulk of that 10 years. You were my leader, my supervisor. I developed confidence under you. I within my knowledge base and what I knew, and learned how to formulate and ask the right questions. And I've also got to see all the great things that your leadership, your guidance, and your value base has just created for not only clients, but for the leaders you've developed like myself and staff, helping us to find our path. And like I said, I could go on for hours, and it's not just from a work perspective, also just from a personal perspective too. Just as a human being, one of the greatest lessons I've ever learned from you was grace, and to show grace and extend it. And so with that, I know that the people want to hear from you, and your perspective, your proudest contribution to your career as of today, and whether that's DMH or otherwise along the way. But what is that for you?
Yeah, so I would say that you probably hit it on the nail. It's probably grace for sure, and that contribution to be able to be that sounding board for people. Um, Being able to have people come in and um, just talk and open up and listening to what their values and what their passions are, and then to help guide them in those directions. So I would say my biggest accomplishment for DMH is to see so many people that have started indirect care staff and become leaders. And not everybody has to be a leader in the same direction. Not everybody is meant to be a supervisor. Not everyone is meant to develop and be an assistant superintendent or a superintendent, or but to be able to help people figure out where they're best and recognize that, I mean, the state is a huge playing field. It really is. And just to help them recognize that their self-confidence is about them, and recognizing that they have potential and where that potential lies, and then helping lead and guide them, and recognizing that they have the ability to do whatever it is that they are that they're meant to do, and helping challenge them in those directions. Um, like I said earlier with hard conversations, I've sat in a room with a staff before and helped them recognize that the current position they're in is not for them. And they have come to that determination. And by the end of it, said, well, what's next? Like, we've sat there and talked for another 20 minutes and said, well, what's next? What's the plan? And so we've looked up colleges and things of those nature. And that is just about being human and making those connections with people and saying, there's nothing wrong with this. And that's okay. That's okay to recognize that this this growing stepping stone is the right direction for me. And then I want to try this in DMH, or I want to try this in the state, and those kinds of things. And so helping people recognize that um, that we're all on a journey. And I think that my best accomplishment is just being there to listen, and then helping people pave their own way.
Love that. Absolutely. Absolutely. I am a product of that myself, and am grateful to it. So my follow-up question to that, because you talked about with Jason, how you've come up through DMH and the contributions that you've given, you shared. When you think about planning difficult conversations, and then you reflect on the programs you've built, the people you've developed, what would you say is your most powerful use of the difficult conversations? Or when you look back at building those things, where do you think that came in to be the most powerful tool in your toolbox when you were developing throughout those years?
Role modeling, I think. So you can teach it, but I think modeling a difficult conversation for somebody else, and helping them feel the emotions that are in a true difficult conversation, and having somebody be in the same room and seeing you flex and grace and all of those things to somebody else's reaction, I think helps give them the confidence and the guidance that they need during difficult conversations.
Yeah.
I think that that's the best way for somebody to understand that It isn't about sitting down with a piece of paper and saying, this is where we're at. This is what we need to see. This is where it needs to be. It really is about a conversation, and it really is about, what do we go, where do we go from here? Like, what's the plan? How do you need me to help you get there? And what resources can I help you with? And if you're not there yet, that's okay. Let's talk tomorrow, or you reach out to me in the next couple of days, and I want to follow up with you once you've digested all of this. Letting them know that you're there for them, not as the person that had the difficult conversation, but somebody that really cares and wants to follow up and make sure that they're on the right path.
Absolutely. Being able to transfer that skill to others empowers the org as a whole, I think, too. I think that's phenomenal. I had one more follow-up question
No, go ahead.
to that. How did being willing, we talk about difficult conversations in context of, difficult conversations with staff, and being a leader that's willing to have those conversations and help people find their path. Or is there ever a time you had to have or formulate difficult conversations when you were building OB, or you were trying to achieve some of the things that you knew would be necessary for OB, the unit that you had, or optimistic beginnings for everybody that doesn't know? Were there difficult conversations that, were pivotal for you to have throughout that process?
Yes, I think that you were probably in a meeting once where, as the leader, I was very transparent at once. And, emotions run high when you take care of other people. Emotions run high when every decision that you're making as a team impacts the care that you give to others, but then also can also impact the lives of the staff, whether that is as something as serious as safety, or as serious as overtime, which also impacts their family lives, or medication, all these things. It impacts everything all the way down. And then when you have people who are helping make those decisions, that are bickering about these small things, eventually, there's a time where you have to say, stop. These small things are not getting us anywhere. So we have to stop this and recognize why we're doing this. Why are we not getting along about these small things, and how is this impacting the individuals and the staff that we are caring about? These two people bickering about these things, we're being childish, and we have to stop doing that, because at the end of the day, we're doing it out of spite between two people, and we are impacting the individuals and the staff that are the heartbeat of our program, and we can't do that anymore. So if that's how we're going to be, then we need to go. Like, just go. Remember that day?
Yeah, I do. I
Okay.
remember it very fondly.
And I didn't say it that nicely.
Yes.
It was more like, if we're going to act like kids, we should go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But remembering, it's almost like helping all of us as a team remember what our purpose was in that moment, where as a team we're trying to go.
Yeah.
And one of the, the superlatives, I guess, that I used, or the accolades that I said, was that, the queen at getting their teams across finish lines with complex and difficult issues. And I think you just spoke to that, and rectified. It's not always as clean and pretty as we would like it. But it's being willing to have those real conversations, right? Whether it's about whether or not we need PPE, or we need to change certain things, or it's just remembering what our purpose is when we're lost in the storm of our own feelings.
Well, and I think too, one of the things that's really important is it's important for leaders to be able to have those conversations. It's important for leaders to recognize, it's important for anybody to recognize and see that these squabbles are affecting what's important. But then it's also important for people to participate in other hard conversations as well. So minor, medium, and large hard conversations.
That is amazing. Okay, that's amazing. And now we're going to focus on goals a little bit. Okay. I know from the beginning of our conversation, you mentioned taking on a new role in, I believe, July.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, congratulations on that, by the way.
Thanks.
Uh,
It's only interim,
yeah,
so
it's
we'll
interim.
see
Okay.
what
Okay.
the future
Hey,
holds. We
you
don't
know,
know. Yeah.
I'm speaking positivity in
There
your
you
life.
go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see you in that role
Manifesting
already.
it.
You know,
There you go.
manifesting.
Okay.
It's manifesting in your
Okay.
role. That's good. Now that you're in that role,
Hmm.
like I said, let's focus on goals for a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. What are at least one personal goal and one professional goal that you have for our 2026 year coming up?
So I have a senior.
Okay.
Whew.
Yeah,
It's been that long?
it has. Yeah. I have a senior. So he graduates in 2026.
Oh wow.
I'm very proud of him. So yeah, getting him through his last year
Yeah.
is actually on very fast. But I have a senior. So just kind of soaking all those moments in right now
Okay.
is really my focus
Yeah,
personally.
Okay.
I don't tend to stop and do that a ton, so this year is specifically special. So making sure that I make it to all the football games and all of those kinds of things has been a challenge to make sure that I'm,
Not bad.
taking a couple hours extra to make sure that all those things are happening. But I'm really proud of him. And yeah, it's been a very special year. So um, then I also have a freshman, which he's my mama's boy. So he's a little extra special for me.
Yeah.
And then my family and my mother-in-law, we have taken on the role of custody of a 6-year-old little girl. I've never had a girl before.
Wow.
It's
And
exciting
so
for you.
she's extra. She is extra. So that's been fun. So yeah, personally, just extra family time,
Okay.
and doing some of that that fun stuff that I've never done before, hair
Okay.
and nails and
Nice.
pink and bows and things. So yeah, that's personal. And then let's see, professionally, I'm content.
Okay.
I'm very content professionally. Not that I don't want to, that I don't have goals. But I'm not really focused on myself at this moment with growing or anything like that. Not that I don't want to grow, because I do. I have all of the growth that I want to put into it. I've been very lucky
Okay.
over my career. I've had amazing mentors. I've worked for amazing people. I'll shout them out. Susan Conway
Yes.
has been a wonderful mentor.
That's awesome.
Jeremiah Gandhi has been an amazing mentor that I've worked under. So I have been very lucky, and so I continue to work with Jeremiah Gandhi, and you know, I just anytime I have a question, I'm able to just answer. And
Yeah.
I've worked with Val Hoon, and was lucky enough to snag her as a mentor for like 6 months. And so, I mean, I've had really great mentors. And so just really goal wise, soaking up their knowledge
Right.
and learning the new things that I need to for this role.
Mhm.
As a facility, my goal is to really focus on um, growth, just growing as as a team.
Okay.
Just we've really over the last couple years we've divided up into different schedules in different areas. So we've kind of separated out to little groups that work on our campus.
Yeah.
And so really building up those small groups to be more team oriented and to be more reliant on each other and really get that team atmosphere together. So that's really my biggest goal. And I would say that that is a big goal to tackle.
Absolutely.
So it will definitely take 2026 for that. But
Awesome.
yes, that's
Awesome.
a big
Awesome.
goal.
It seems like you're paving the way for 2026.
Yeah.
And I have to ask you this. A follow-up question is what goals do you have for the DMH way in 2026? we're all DMH Way ambassadors and adjuncts. I know you have an amazing group of individuals that are working at your facility, both ambassadors and adjuncts that are doing like exceptionally well at your facility. Again, what goals do you have or plans do you have for DMH Way for the 2026 year?
That's a good question because we were just talking about that in a meeting yesterday.
Okay.
So I think our biggest goal for the DMH Way is incorporating that into our annual trainings.
Okay.
So making sure that, we teach it in our new employee orientation solid. And I think just rounding that about and bringing that into our annual training to make sure that everyone's on the same page. And when new employees are going out, they're seeing that come from the staff that have been there for a while and making sure that we're all speaking the same lingo and doing the same things. And I think that's our biggest goal right now. That's what we want to concentrate on the most.
Awesome.
So, Miranda, thank you for taking us behind the curtain of your 22-year journey with DMH that's led to your success at Higginsville Rehabilitation Center today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to be a part of this and to have you here today to speak to us and also to the audience and provide this great advice and this great knowledge that they can benefit from. But before we let you go, you've got to pick a side with Show Me State Lightning Round. And this is something we do to close us off with Chat GCG. All of our viewers look forward to it. It's the highlight, they say, of the Chat GCG. And so if you're ready, remember to go with your first intuition. Don't think too hard about it, which I don't think you'll have a problem with at all. And then we'll get going. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Some questions.
Yeah.
All right. Jack Stack Barbecue or Emo's Pizza?
Jack Stack.
Okay. Jack Stack. Yeah, I agree with you on that. How do you feel about it, Jason?
I don't like pizza, sorry, but I'll say Jack Stack.
All right. Yeah, I would agree. St. Louis Zoo or Kansas City Aquarium?
St. Louis Zoo.
Yeah.
All right. Branson or Lake of the Ozarks?
Lake of the Ozarks.
Every time. Yes. Everybody else agree with that? No one cares. All right, moving forward. It wins. All right. Cardinals or Royals?
Royals.
All day. Panera or McAllister's?
Panera.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you like best about
I don't know that I've
Panera?
ever eaten a McAllister's.
Oh, the next time we have an event,
Yeah.
that's who's catering.
Okay.
Got to. Mark Twain or T.S. Eliot?
Mark Twain.
Absolutely. What would you say you love best about Mark Twain?
I grew up reading all of the Mark Twain books.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
All
so
of them.
built a connection early on.
My grandmother was a librarian, so it was a must.
I didn't know that.
All of the Mark Twain books.
That is awesome. Disney or Universal Studios?
I hate crowds, but I'll go with Disney.
Yeah. I would have to say Universal Studios.
Yeah.
You won't get me at either one. But
Can we go back to that Cardinals or Royals to Eagles or
I don't know that I want to.
Yes,
Yeah,
we can do that.
You know what?
Let's
This
do
is
it.
about to be a war.
we can.
Let's do it.
The Chiefs.
What?
Chiefs.
Didn't go how you thought it would, did it?
Chiefs.
Yes.
I don't know
Why?
why you were surprised.
Why not?
Okay. Well, folks, here it is.
So you heard it here. I think Jason is outnumbered across the state of Missouri. But, he is still shocked every time it's proven. We will be keeping track and tally, let you know later on where we're at with that. Thank you again, Miranda, for being here, for being willing to share some insights again into your 22 years of service and where you are today. And congratulations on that and your role currently with HHC. And we look forward to all the great things you do in the year 2026.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, guys.
Absolutely.
Chat GCG, a DMH Way podcast. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Scan the QR code for the DMH Way website.